Have you ever felt so desperate that you'd do anything, absolutely anything, for just a glimmer of hope? Today, let's journey back in time and walk in the shoes of an absolutely fascinating and resilient woman of a woman whose story has echoed through centuries, a testament to unwavering faith in the face of utter despair. For 12 long years, she lived in the shadows. A debilitating illness, a constant hemorrhage, had not only drained her physical strength but had also taken everything else. In that society, her condition made her ceremonially unclean. This meant isolation. She couldn't hug her family, couldn't share a meal with friends, couldn't even enter the temple to pray. She was an outcast, invisible to a world that moved on without her. Her life savings, every last coin, had been spent on doctors who offered promises but no cures, leaving her poorer and sicker than before. Imagine the loneliness, the quiet desperation of each passing day. 12 years is over 4,000 days of suffering, isolation, and fading hope. Then a whisper of a name started to spread through the towns and villages. Jesus, a teacher, a healer, a man who performed miracles. Stories of the blind seeing and the lame walking reached her, planting a tiny, fragile seed of hope in her weary heart. This was different. This wasn't a transaction for a temporary remedy. This felt like a chance for a new life. A deep, unshakable conviction grew within her. If she could just get close enough, if she could just touch the very edge of his clothes, she would be healed. So, with this newfound resolve fueling her weakened body, she set out. The crowds around Jesus were immense, a suffocating sea of people pushing and shoving, all clamoring for his attention. For a woman in her condition, every step was a struggle. The fear of being discovered, of being shamed for being in a crowd while unclean, must have been terrifying. But her faith was louder than her fear. She pushed forward, her eyes fixed not on his face, but on the hem of his robe, the very fringe of his garment. That was her goal, her single point of focus. Inch by inch, she navigated the chaos. Finally, she was close. Reaching out a trembling hand, her fingers brushed against the fabric. In that single fleeting moment, everything changed. An instantaneous surge of power, a warmth she hadn't felt in over a decade, coursed through her body. She knew with absolute certainty that she was healed. The bleeding that had plagued her for 12 years stopped. It was over. In the midst of the noise and commotion, Jesus stopped. He turned and asked, "Who touched me?" His disciples were confused. "Master," they said, "the people are crowding and pressing against you, and you ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus knew. He had felt power go out from him. This wasn't an accidental bump. It was a touch of faith. Knowing she couldn't hide, the woman came forward. Trembling with a mix of awe and fear, she fell at his feet and in front of everyone confessed the whole truth, her long years of suffering, her secret hope, and the miracle that had just happened. The crowd went silent, listening to her pour out her story, and Jesus, with infinite compassion in his eyes, didn't scold her. He didn't shame her. He looked at her and said the words that would affirm her new life. "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." He called her daughter, restoring her identity, her dignity, and her place in the community. Her healing wasn't just physical. It was total restoration. This woman's story is so powerful because it reminds us that no situation is too hopeless, no period of suffering too long. Her faith wasn't loud or demanding. It was a quiet, determined belief that drove her through a crowd to touch the edge of a robe. It shows us that even the smallest act of faith, when directed toward the right source, can change everything. It is a beautiful picture of how faith can lead us from the darkest shadows into a life of peace and wholeness. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this moment with me. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires. See you next time.